Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet. We've got another Transformers review coming your way. This time around, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers R.E.D. Soundwave. So as we always do, let's go ahead and take a look at that packaging first. We'll move him out of the way. We'll bring that box in, get a nice close-up of that. So right up there at the top, you have R.E.D. Robot Enhanced Design. You have a little bit of Soundwave artwork right there. His name is Soundwave. He is a non-converting figure. Transformers at the side. And over here you have this little clear panel where you can see all the accessories that came with him. And here on the back you do have your product shots. And down here at the bottom you have all your warnings, and you have the ever popular sound baby, sad baby. And right here on the quarter panel you can see the full artwork of Soundwave there, which looks really cool. Up top you have the Transformers logo. Down below you've got some manufacturing information, and that's it for the outside of the packaging. So let's talk about what came in there. First off, we'll look at this insert. So like the other Transformers R.E.D. figures, this nice little insert comes with Soundwave that gives some schematics and gives you that nice G1 look, which I really like. All right, and of course you do get your little folded up warnings. Makes it easier to throw these away. And then as far as the other accessories go, you do get a couple of fists. So you do get the pointy finger fist. This is the one that he would use to eject his cassettes. And then you get the squeezy trigger fist. And yes, this is a separate accessory. These are actually two pieces, but for the sake of this review, I'm not going to take this gun out because I'm trying to keep these reviews fairly kid-friendly, and getting this gun in this fist made me cuss a little bit, so I'm not going to be demonstrating that. And yeah, we're gonna have a much cleaner G-rated review with that. This was a real pain to get into this fist, but once it's in there, holds nice and securely. So there you go. And while we're talking about it, this is his rifle. So good detail on that rifle right there. And then he does come with his shoulder-mounted missile launcher. Now, this could have benefited from some paint apps, which is unfortunate. It would have looked nice to have at least just a few dots of red in there. Would have been nice. The other thing that I have a real problem with on this is a very, very shallow post. This thing, it holds on with a wing and a prayer when you put it in. You could probably breathe on this hard and it will fall out. So if this falls out during the course of the review, it's because of this really shallow post. They could have made that a little bit longer and it would have benefited. And the last accessory that he comes with is his cassette. Now this is non-transforming. This is just the cassette that goes in his chest. Still good painted detail on it. Alright, so let's go ahead and we will bring Mr. Soundwave in for his close-up so you can get a nice look at that guy. And that is a pretty good looking head sculpt, all things being equal. And you do have that Transformers logo right there on the chest. Now he does have a couple of posts in there, but as far as details go, it's pretty generic in there. But you know, it's just a non-transforming figure and you're going to stick the cassette in there, so I guess I shouldn't expect miracles. And there you have the buttons. Now this is fairly G1 accurate because, you know, in the cartoon he didn't have any words on there. They were just the buttons. So, and that's what they're going here, is kind of a G1 toon aesthetic. So you got some nice paint apps down here on the legs. And turn him over to the side here. A little bit of detail on the side. And then you got some detail on those arms. Alright, and turn him to the back. And of course this is where these red figures shine, right? Is that because they don't have to transform, they can just make them the G1 accurate look. So there's no hollow areas, there's no big backpacks, no faux parts. It's just the figure. Alright, so overall from a detail standpoint, not too bad. So let's go ahead and talk about articulation. Now, as far as articulation goes, just like the other Transformers R.E.D. non-converting figures, This guy has some great articulation. Of course, when you don't have to worry about the transformation, the designers could really take their time and put in some great articulation on these guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So right up here at the top with the head, of course, you get your side to side, you get your up, and you get some down, and you can go all the way around. But you also have that double-ended dog bone in there, which allows you to really move that head around. So you could get a sideways look like that, sideways look like that, and you can get some forward and back. So you can bring the head forward and bring the head back. So really good range of motion in that head. Makes for a lot of fun. At the shoulders, shoulders can come up that far, and they can go all the way around. And you do get bicep rotation. You get double hinged elbows, so you can get great elbow bend there. And then down here at the hands, like the other red figures, you get the wrist rotation. But if you pull this out just a bit, right there, now this is still secured in, it's not going to fall out, and I think this is by design. I hope it is, because it's great. So not only do you get that 360, but you also get the ability to bring that wrist out and in that much. So that really adds to the posability as well. Now here at the waist, you don't get any ab crunch or side to side, but you do get waist rotation all the way around. And he will do the splits. He doesn't get a lot there. It's enough for posing, but still a little on the disappointing side. And legs will kick forward that far, and they will kick back that far. And you get the double hinged knees, so you can get great knee bend on this guy. And then down here at the feet, similar to the hands, now you can get the normal bits of posing side to side and up and down, but if you just give these a little bit of a pull, and you pull those out just a little bit, you get an extra range of motion. Now again, they're still secured in there, they're going to hold his weight, but you can just get all kinds of range of motion on these feet now, which will give you some great posability. So really good articulation on this guy. Would have liked to have seen an ab crunch, but for the most part, everything else on there for Soundwave is really nice. So the first accessory we'll bring in is his little cassette, and we'll go ahead and we'll put this in his chest because this really completes the look of Soundwave. So this will go in either direction, but you do have a little bit of a different design. This is more of the cassette side, and this is more of the laser beak side, if you will. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in like this. So we have that cassette look going. Open this up, and again, you can put it in either direction, but I'm going to put it in this orientation, and you just drop it in there over those posts and close that up, and then I think that really fills out the chest nicely. I think it looks a lot better with that cassette in there. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll bring in the missile launcher. We'll just go ahead and talk about this guy first. He does have the port right up here at the top, and he has that very shallow post. So I'm just going to proactively move that head out of the way for a moment. So this is just so shallow. I'll put it in there, but I don't know if it's going to stay. So give it a nice push in there. And right now, it stays in fairly well. But if I bump it too much, or if I think about it, or if I look at it, or if I give it the evil eye, it will fall out on me. But there he is with his missile launcher in, and I think that, you know, as long as it stays in, it looks pretty darn good. So now the next three accessories that we have, of course, are the hands. So just like the other red figures, all you need to do is grab those hands, give those a good pull, pop those out, and then you plug this right in and do the same thing over here. Give it a good pull, and then plug this one in. And now you have Soundwave looking even more Soundwavy. I think that looks pretty awesome. He's got that gun, got his missile launcher, and of course you can manipulate the arms to get this right where it needs to be. Pull this hand out just a little bit. There we go. That way I can utilize that wrist action. And then you have Soundwave pushing his own buttons. That's great. That's just so much fun. Absolutely, I like that. So yeah, there he is with all of his accessories on, and I think he really looks good. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll bring in some of his compatriots and start doing some comparisons with this guy. Alright, so I figured for comparisons what we would do is we would go ahead and we would start with the cassette. So I will hold this cassette, and then what I'll do is I'll just bring in the cassettes for the comparisons we're going to bring in. So the first one that we'll bring in is the, let's go ahead and call this Laserbeak. So the Transformers R.E.D Laserbeak next to the Earthrise, Netflix War for Cybertron Earthrise Laserbeak. And next we'll bring in the G1, and this is actually Buzzsaw, but same mold. Let's see how those two look together. And last comparison is we will bring in the Masterpiece Laserbeak, so you can see how those look together. Alright, now we will do comparisons with Mr. Soundwave himself. So the first one that we'll bring in, kind of following the same order here, is we will bring in the Earthrise Soundwave. So you can see how those two guys look together. Alright. Next one we'll bring in is the G1 Soundwave. So you can certainly see the inspiration there. And yeah, he is very G1 cartoon accurate, so nice job. Alright, next one we will bring in is the Masterpiece Soundwave. And yeah, I know it's not really a comparison, but I still wanted to bring him in. Alright, and then because my Optimus Prime is my universal scale, I figured I would shake it up a little bit here, and I would bring in the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime from the Earthrise Kingdom line. Since, you know, Soundwave's a Decepticon, I wanted to bring in, you know, an evil universal scale. Alright, and then we'll start bringing in the other Transformers R.E.D figures. So let's go ahead and put him in the middle, and then we'll just start surrounding him with the other R.E.D characters. So let's go ahead and start with his boss, Megatron. Let's see how he scales there. Megatron looks like he's looking up at something. Put his head down a little bit. What are you pointing at? Something on the ground? I don't see anything. Alright, and then we'll bring in Optimus Prime. And these are all the from the Wave 1 of the Transformers R.E.D series. Let's get these guys over just a little bit and center them up. There we go. Alright, so now we will bring in RC. And you know what? I'm gonna move Megs back a little bit. Bring RC right there so you can see her next to Soundwave. Yeah, don't worry, Megs, you're still in the frame. And last but certainly not least is Cheetor. So there you go. Oh no, Optimus, we can't see your face. There you go. So there you go. Those are all the Transformers R.E.D figures that are out as of the time of this recording. And I think overall this is a pretty good looking group. I would still have to say that out of these 5 characters, I think Cheetor is my favorite. His posability and everything is just second to none. He's just a lot of fun to have. And RC is still my least favorite. She seems to be the most fragile. So, but yeah, overall I think this is a really good group of figures here. So there you go. And what we'll do is we'll get these guys out of here, and I will give you my final thoughts on Transformers R.E.D Soundwave. Yeah, so my final thoughts on the Transformers R.E.D Soundwave. I like this figure, and I like this line of Transformers, what Hasbro is bringing out. Yes, of course, they're non-converting. They're just action figures, but I think what they're bringing to the table is a lot more fun than what I had thought originally. I didn't know when these first came out. I didn't know if I was going to collect them at all, and even if I did pick one up, whether or not I was going to like them. And I've discovered that I really do enjoy these figures. They have a great shelf presence. There's lots of playability with these guys. The articulation, of course, really, really adds a lot to the posability and the fun factor. You can take some great pictures, make some great poses with these guys, so it just makes it a lot of fun. Now, quality issues, I don't really have any to speak of for the most part. I would like to have seen a longer post for that missile launcher on his shoulder. That just does not stay no matter what you do. I mean, right now, because I'm not touching him, it doesn't fall out, but anytime you start to manipulate this figure or try to pose him, that thing's going to pop out on you. So it can be a little bit of a pain. And I would have liked to have seen a spring-loaded mechanism for the cassette, but I think at that point maybe I'm asking a little bit too much. Now, there are some mold flow lines that are in this figure. I don't worry about those too much because these are hefty figures. This is solid plastic that's being pumped in, and you know, you're kind of picking the lesser of two evils. You want to get a complete, full molded part, and in doing so, sometimes you're just going to have those mold flow lines, especially with the type of plastic that they're using here. So I don't sweat that too much. But overall, I do have to say that I like this figure quite a bit. Now, that gun and that trigger hand, maybe it was just my copy, but that really got me frustrated. But once I got it in there, it looks great, and I'm not going to change it now. I mean, it's in there, it's a trigger hand, and it's holding his rifle, so it makes perfect sense to me, and that's how it's going to stay. So with that, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up and just finish off by saying I think if you can get your hands on this guy and you like the other Transformers R.E.D figures and you don't mind missing out on the conversion or the transformation, then he's definitely one to pick up. I mean, it's Soundwave, for goodness sakes. If you have Optimus Prime, if you have Megatron, then you need this guy for your collection. So if you can find him, pick him up. He's $20 US. As always, I would like to see it a little bit less than that. These guys are definitely not worth more than retail, but if you can find him for retail, then I think he's a worthy addition. So with that, yeah, that's going to end the review, guys. Don't forget to if you like what we do here, hit that like button, give us a subscribe, leave us some comments, let us know what you think. We're constantly trying to improve this channel, so your input is very important to us. So with that, guys, that's going to wrap it up. We'll talk to you later. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.